Hey, good morning, everybody. Thought I'd give you a little update on some goings-ons with the chickens. We had a dog attack our chickens this past Friday. A neighbor that lives a couple doors down has a husky that normally has never been in our yard before. But on Friday, apparently it got out of the house and came up here, and we had an area that was right outside the coop that was like a grazing area, or outside the main run. The main run is very secure, nothing's going to get in there. But outside of the main run, we had some of that plastic construction fencing that was just held up by T-stakes, and we had strings gone across to keep hawks out from flying down in, but it gave them an area that was more grassy. We have a rose of Sharon bush, and they would go and pretty much spend most of the heat of the day underneath the rose of Sharon bush in this extra fenced in area that we created. It's worked great all summer. We've had it up maybe even since like May, and they come out there every day, and we've never had any issues at all with anything. But so this husky got out and decided to come up here, and we were in the house. Mitzi was working, and I was, I think, in the living room watching TV with the dog, since our dog had a stroke last week, and so she was still in recovery mode, so I was spending a lot of time inside with the dog. So the husky comes up, busts through the fence, and got a hold of two of our chickens and did some damage. Fortunately did not kill any of the chickens, but did get a hold of Foxy Brown, left a puncture wound in her back, tore a bunch of feathers out of her wing, and a whole bunch of feathers around her vent area where she was kind of raw looking. And then Merrill, the rooster, must have gotten involved to protect the flock, and he had all of his tail feathers ripped out. He had this big beautiful plume of tails, and now, or a big plume of feathers, this big beautiful tail, and now he doesn't have a tail at all. Ripped out every single feather. Fortunately, the owner, I guess, had come after the dog, had come up here and got in and got a hold of the dog before it killed any of the chickens, and then they came and knocked on our door to let us know. So that was pretty upsetting. And the next day, we went down and talked to them, because we had like this big old dog kennel that we've never used. It's just been here. It's like a big 8 by 8 by 8 feet high, has a door and everything on it. And we said, you know what, you can have this since you don't have a fenced yard. If you want to keep the dog in this big kennel until you can afford to get the fence put up, you're welcome to it. So they thanked us for that, and came and took it down to their house. And the dad kept saying, this will never happen again, so sorry, and he would pay for any damages. But there wasn't, it wasn't any, since nothing was killed, there wasn't any damages that would require him to pay for anything. We weren't really worried about that. So then on Sunday, we came out here and spent 12 hours building this whole new grazing area that's way more secure than the plastic fence that we had. Somebody's getting ready to lay an egg, that's why it's so noisy back here. But we made, I put in all of this split rail fence along with some other boards that I had left over from other projects. Put in hardwire across the whole thing, built a gate. And this fence is almost 6 feet high from the ground up, and it's got a bottom board that runs along the bottom, so that a dog couldn't push through it. They'd actually have to dig underneath of it. I didn't sink anything into the ground on this one, but like I did around the main coop. But we created a whole new area that goes down here to the magnolia tree behind me. and goes around that so that the chickens can go under there during the heat of the day. But you know, we finished most of it on Sunday, but didn't get it quite done. I had only got about half the gate, and so the gate didn't have a latch on it yet, and it was only the first part of the gate, so it was pretty low. On Monday, we came back out here, you know, do a little bit more work and stuff, and figured, okay, we're outside. We'll let the chickens into the new run area while we're out here. We hadn't been out here 5 minutes. We had just opened the chicken door, and all of a sudden the chickens started really making a bunch of noise, and I was like, what are they getting all excited about? And I look over, and here's this husky back here again, running around, you know, trying to figure out how to get into the chickens. And I knew if he came, or if she came around the backside where the short gate was, she could easily hop over that, or, you know, push it open since it didn't have a latch on it yet. So we're yelling at this dog, chasing it all around, and finally our other neighbor heard us yelling, and he came over and he caught the dog, because that dog is fast. She's young. She's maybe, I don't even think she's a year old yet, but she's a big dog. He was able to catch her as she went tearing by, because I'm out here running around in my flip-flops. Mitzi's running around, and we're trying to chase this stupid dog. Got a hold of it, put it on a leash. I took it back down to the neighbor's house. They weren't home. Apparently the dog was in whatever, they hadn't set up the kennel yet, so whatever they were keeping it in, it had found a way to escape and came right back to the chickens. So we called animal control, who never showed up. But fortunately, our other neighbor said that he would take the dog and put it in his basement until, you know, either animal control got here or the owners got home. So since animal control never showed up, the neighbor came home a couple hours later, came up, apologized again, took it down, and I haven't seen the dog since. They said that they might rehome it because they don't really have a place to keep it secure. So I don't know if they have rehomed it or if they're just keeping it inside where I haven't seen or heard it. But it was pretty upsetting. You know, I was about ready to go get the shotgun, you know, if it was going to keep trying to kill the chickens. I don't blame the dog because, you know, really I think the dog was just trying to play, and you know, dogs don't know how to play with chickens, especially a young one like that. So, but I also need to protect, you know, the chickens. And I mean, I can only do so much building all these fences and whatnot. So, but I'm looking for any other options outside of, you know, getting a gun out. So I don't want to kill anything. Plus, it's a really sweet dog. I mean, once we got on the leash, you know, you tell it to sit, it sits. It's a beautiful dog, as you can see here in the picture. But you know, it needs a place that it can run and play and not go into neighbors' yards and attack their poultry or livestock. So hopefully the owners have now addressed that issue. Yesterday I had to fill out an affidavit for animal control, you know, to report the two issues. They were supposed to send somebody out again yesterday, and of course nobody shows up again. So, you know, our Humane Society animal control isn't very helpful in these situations, to put it nicely. So I'm not real happy with them right now. So, dog attack. So let me show you some other updates though of other chicken stuff that's a little better. So in the mother-in-law suite, where we have Alice and the two babies, although they're not really babies anymore. There's Pip. He's one of the babies, or was the rooster. And then over here we've got Peep, who hasn't quite learned how to cluck yet. she tends to make more of a sound like a cat. It's almost like a meowing sound. She does this thing where she's like, meow, 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 when she can't find Alice, the mama. She's very dependent on Alice for whatever reason. And we are going to try and integrate them in the next week and see how this goes with having 2 roosters. I know that we really should have more hens for having 2 roosters, but we're just gonna see what happens and what we need to work out here. And Pip is way more friendlier, much more friendly than Merle is. Merle's kind of a jerk to us, but he's very good with the flock. So yesterday I built this thing in here, which is just like a little covered lean-to type thing, because on this side there's not a lot of shade during part of the day. It does get shade from the maple tree later in the afternoon, but because this is more of the separation area, really all we have is this small coop where they stay, and it doesn't give a whole lot of large room of protection when it comes to like rain and that kind of thing. So I used to have a tarp just hanging in here for shade, but then of course every time it rained I had to come and take the tarp down because it would fill up with water, and I didn't want that to happen or fall on the chickens. So I finally I had a bunch of leftover wood from building the deck, and I just went and got a couple of these vinyl roofing panels, and so now they have this whole area in here that is about 8 feet long by, oh, I don't know, 4 feet wide, I guess. It's not huge, but it's just an additional area. And we're talking about maybe putting some sides on it and see, if that helps even protect them even more when it comes to like wind and rain type thing. Just an additional like little shed that they can go into. Eventually we are going to, once they're all integrated, we'll take these partitions down, so then all the chickens will have full run of the whole area in here. So, but as you can see, most of the grass and stuff that grew in here last summer is all gone now. The chickens have of course scratched all that away, so we keep mulch in here most of the time in several of the areas. And I think we're also going to put wood chips in here just to help keep like mud down when it's rainy out. And then they'll have that side grazing area that we just built that they can go out where there's grass and the magnolia tree to get underneath. So that's what's going on in the run and in the coop. This is my buddy Pip. Come here, Pip. Hi, Alice. What are you doing? Pip? You're just staying just out of reach right now? We've been trying to pick him up, carry him around every day to keep him more friendly and nice with us, and he's good with that. He'll ride around with me out in the garden. I feed him bugs, and he follows me around a lot out in the garden to get bugs that I give him off the plants. So we're hoping that keeps him much more of a friendly rooster and not be like Merle, who tries to attack us every time that we come in. We keep Merle at bay with a hose. He doesn't like the hose, so if we just spray a little water on the ground, he just turns around and walks the other direction. So that works for Merle. The black one over there is Foxy Brown, the one that got attacked by the dog. You can see her back's kind of jacked up right now, although it looks worse than it is because she's got a bunch of mulch that she threw up on her back, or kicked up on her back. So, and you can't really see the vent area, I don't think, other than you can see it's kind of rough looking, but you can't really see where the bald patch is. The last thing I need to do which has been needed to have been done since last summer, is finish staining and putting the decorative lattice work on the top. You see I got the one piece up there, and I have more pieces to put up. I just haven't done it yet. So and then I have to finish staining this on the outside. So hopefully in the next week I'll get to doing some of that. Okay, so that's the chicken update about the dog attack and some of the other little projects going on with the chickens. So thanks for stopping by and checking out our channel. I hope you subscribe to our channel and click on the little bell so you get all the updates for whenever we upload new content. And whatever's going on in your neck of the woods and at your homesteads and in your gardens, I hope that you are having a great day. Namaste.